Hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Thanks for joining me on the Saturday night live stream. Live from Michigan, where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. We'll talk about Bitcoin, we'll talk about the news, we'll talk about altcoins. Going to move some crypto around for you guys, and as always, I'll do my very best to get to your questions and see if we can't troubleshoot your problems here live. Well, it's been a rough week. I think last week we were talking about 95K. And then we weren't sure if we could go any lower, and we certainly did. I think the lowest figure that I saw was 80,000 something on one exchange. So it's been a rough week. I will throw this out here at the very beginning. I did not sell any crypto at all last week. And we're going to talk a little bit about, our top story about realized gains. Realized gains means that they sold. No, wait, I'm sorry. Realized losses. Realized losses means that you sold at a loss. You actually sold. Of course, most of the time when we're talking about markets, we're talking about unrealized gains or unrealized losses, which means that you're holding a stock or a commodity or a coin that's gone up in value, but you haven't really sold it yet. That's an unrealized gain. Or just the opposite, if you've bought a coin and it's below what you paid for it, but you have not sold it, then that would be an unrealized loss. But our main story tonight, we're going to talk about realized losses. There's also an interesting story about Scott Bessent, who walked into the Bitcoin bar that just opened in Washington. And it had me thinking, how's everybody doing tonight? Good. I just wanted to check to make sure my mic isn't muted or anything crazy like that. Walked into the Bitcoin bar unannounced, unexpectedly in Washington. And a lot of Bitcoiners saw that as a good sign. Bessent was appointed by Trump, so and he's been pretty vocally pro Bitcoin and pro crypto, so it's not surprising, but it is kind of a first. But that whole idea of walked into a bar made me think of a joke, right? So the quintessential joke would be a priest, a rabbi, and a Baptist minister walked into a bar, and the bartender looked up and said, "What is this, a joke?" So you get it? So I've got some jokes prepared for the Treasury Secretary walking into a Bitcoin bar. So the Treasury Secretary walks into a Bitcoin bar and says, "I control the nation's money supply." The bartender says, "That's great. I control my own private keys." So, and then we got another one here. The Treasury Secretary walks into a Bitcoin bar and says, "I'm here to stabilize things." The bartender says, "Cool. Start with your own bar tab. It settles every 10 minutes. I didn't get that one out right. I was bad on the delivery. Let's see if I can do better on these. The U.S. Secretary walked into a Bitcoin bar and asked to open a tab. The bartender shook his head and said, "Sorry, but unlike the national debt, you actually have to pay this one off." But that would have worked for any, yeah. But I do have the priest and rabbi one. I left out the Baptist minister. A priest, a rabbi, and the U.S. Treasury Secretary walk into a Bitcoin bar. The bartender says, "Relax. Nobody here is trying to convert anybody except for fiat." I don't know. Let me okay, this is my killer one. I think this one might redeem me. Bartender, okay, here we go. A priest, a rabbi, and the U.S. Treasury Secretary walk into a bar. The priest puts a Bible on the bar. The rabbi puts a Torah on the bar. And the Treasury Secretary puts a U.S. dollar on the bar. The bartender looks at the items, shakes his head, and says, "Sorry, gentlemen, but we don't allow religious extremism in here, especially the kind that relies on that much blind faith." That was a good one. All right, so I'm done telling jokes. Let me go over here and see how everybody's doing. It's good to have everybody here tonight. Oh, I forgot to put my green screen up again. Let's do that. Yeah, I must be a disembodied talking head for this thing to work. All right. So, oh my gosh, this thing is loud. Oh, I see what's going on here. Sorry about this, guys. I had the gain all the way up on my mic there because I was doing something with a different mic the other day. So here we go. Let's see. Kenny was here early as usual. Good to have Kenny here. Bob Wise 1953 talking about RLUSD, which I believe is the stable coin for XRP. Do you think holding it on Uphold to get 5% rewards is safe? Well, as you know, I am an advocate of self-custody, not your coins, not your crypto. I wouldn't call it unsafe. You just have to remember that you're relying on Uphold to custody your crypto for you. And a lot of things could go wrong in that scenario. You could get locked out of your account by accident. You put in your password wrong too many times. And so they think that someone's trying to hack your account. Their servers could go down at an inopportune moment. There's so many things that can happen when someone else is holding your Bitcoin. I think you asked here, holding it on a TANGEM wallet will ever offer rewards. I don't know if they're going to offer staking rewards on RLUSD. I wouldn't know about their future plans. I haven't, they don't. I don't really get involved in the stuff that they're planning on doing. I don't know that you can stake the XRP stablecoin on Ledger Live right now. I'm not up on that right now, so I can't answer that last question. But I would look for some kind of scenario where you can hold your own keys while you're staking. That's general advice for any kind of staking, really. But I do earn a little bit of income from coins that I have got on some of my exchanges, but I don't put all my marbles, on exchanges. There's nothing wrong with earning a little side income, from the coins you have on exchanges. But I tend to be the type that goes for keeping things in my own wallet. So let's see. I answered that question because it was posted before the stream started. Kenny is here. Roland is here. Roland sent me a very nice email saying he had a great year. It was great meeting Roland. I believe it was back in April when we both were at the Solana Accelerate event and had a chance to meet Roland in person. That was really cool. And I would love to see him again sometime. It would be wonderful. My wife fell in love with New York, so she definitely wants to go back there again. So you never know. We might end up back there again. Let's see. Hans Hannah 350, Simona Mooland, Amsterdam, Holland 3085, looking to work at McDonald's. Gregory Wieland is here. Hang in there. Yeah, the only thing I regret when the markets take big dips like this is that I didn't plan ahead and have some dry powder. So I kind of have to, I'm not selling anything, but I wish that I had more dry powder. So I made a note to self that when the market's ripping, that I will try to put some of my assets in stablecoin. So, when I get paid and I buy a little Bitcoin or whatever I buy, maybe 25 to 50% of what I buy will go into stablecoin. I know, when the market's going up, you're trying to maximize your profit, but I would rather, when the market's low, I'd rather be putting everything in crypto. But when the market's high, I should be thinking about the down times and putting a little bit of my investment money into stablecoin just as dry powder for when there's a drop like this. Because you don't think they're going to happen, but when they do, you wish you had some dry powder on the side. When I say dry powder, I mean liquidity that you can use to buy low when, the coins that you're interested in go low. And it's a funny thing that I think I've seen some memes where, it says, Bitcoin at 120,000, and everybody wants to buy Bitcoin at 120, but then when it's down at 85,000, everybody's scared to buy it, and, when it's at 120,000, everyone's saying stuff like, gee, I wish I could have gotten in sooner when it was lower. And then when it does go lower, then they get scared. So, yeah, it's just psychology. So I'm buying as much as I can at the moment. I wish everyone the best in your investments. Don't invest any money in crypto you can't afford to lose. That's number one. And don't make investment decisions when you're stressed out. That's number two. It's a bad time to be making investment decisions. And it seems like in the story we're going to cover, a lot of short-term holders are selling in a panic. So let's try to hang in there, everybody. Drew ARU. Oh, Kitty's here. Hang on. Kitty is here. Let's see. Kitty. Oh. Oh, no. Okay. Saw the day room there. Kitty. Ugh. Ugh. Hey, look at the camera. All right, Kitty. I just let Kitty out. Oh, he just wants to sit down. Okay. Yeah, I just let Kitty out not too long ago. And he's back already. Is it too cold for you out there? It's not that cold. You got fur. Okay. So I guess Kitty's just going to sit on my lap. Okay, let's go back to this. Hi, Kitty. I see you. Yes. Okay. Let's get back to this. Oh. All right. Where were we? Oh, yeah, I was greeting everybody. P. Wizzle is here with a new handle. Emmanuel looks like he's got a new one. Cat food. See, I know all your icons. Christopher Tane is here. Oh, you know what? It's weird. I think it's one of those situations where I'm seeing your raw profiles instead of your handles. It's kind of weird. Gunbroker 11 is here. Fred McIntyre, Michael Rush 4544. Let's see. Okay, a lot of people here tonight. Good to have you guys here. Yeah, I'm Shecky Green tonight. Yeah, bada bing. Now we know why Bitcoin is dumping. Nothing to joke about. Oh, that's a good one. Dan, Dan is here. Trip Aces is here. Docport X is here. Saul is easy to stake. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I'm a big fan of Saul. I saw something about Sol that somebody is doubling down on Sol. I think it's Coinbase. They made a purchase of some kind of Sol staking company or something like that. All right, so let's jump into the news and talk about this stuff. Oh, before we go too far, I wanted to, we have a Raising Cane's here in Grand Rapids, and it was absolutely insane the first day. This is the line to get into Raising Cane's, and that's my wife and my two kids, and we're standing there waiting to get into Raising Cane's. It's kind of cold that day, but we were fine. My son said we waited for an hour. Yeah, so I don't know. And there we are inside Raising Cane's. Actually, let me turn the sound off here. And yeah, it was quite a party atmosphere when we got into Raising Cane's. They were blasting music outside. So it was quite an event, and then we got in there. They only have like one thing on their menu, chicken fingers, even the sandwich is like 3 chicken fingers. And but they got their sauce is pretty good, and their Texas toast and the fries. So all that. And then I wanted to show you guys this picture. This is a really good picture of my wife and the cat the other day. And I was just scrolling through my pictures and remembered that I took this picture. Yeah. I only wish the closet door had been closed when I took that picture, but yeah, it's a good one. All right, so let's get back to business here. Okay. So Bitcoin realized losses. There we go. Realized losses rise to FTX crash levels. Where is the bottom? With short-term holders driving Bitcoin sell-off, realized losses are hitting historic levels, leaving investors to wonder where the bottom might be. Bitcoin has taken a slide back to its April level of around 83,000, with mounting selling pressure prompting many investors to sell at a loss reminiscent of major historic market crashes. Realized losses on Bitcoin have surged to levels not seen since the 2022 FTX collapse, according to blockchain data platform Glassnode. The scale and speed of these losses reflect a meaningful washout of marginal demand as recent buyers unwind into the drawdown. They posted that on X on Friday. Glassnode's observation came minutes before Bitcoin slipped as low as 80,500 on Coinbase, marking a 36% decline from its all-time high of 126,210 recorded just weeks ago in early October. According to Glassnode, a big chunk of selling in the ongoing Bitcoin crash is due to short-term holders. I keep saying that. Data from analytics platform CryptoQuant shares a similar perspective, noting that short-term selling often marks a local bottom if the price quickly reclaims the cost basis. Failing to do so historically indicates a deeper bearish trend or confirms a bear market, CryptoQuant wrote on X. We're pretty low, guys. Although many market observers say the current downturn could signal the end of the bull market that began in 2023, prominent industry figures such as Jan3's Samson Mow have cast doubt on the onset of crypto winter. How can we have a bear market when we haven't even had a proper bull market? Mao asked, referring to a growing caution across the market. With Bitcoin in the red for 4 straight weeks and the crypto fear greed index plunging into extreme fear, the question of how low BTC could fall has become a major concern. We've been slicing through support levels like butter lately, and nobody seems to want to try and catch the knife, Quantum Economics CEO Matty Greenspan told Cointelegraph, adding, "While I utterly reject the notion that we're heading into a multi-year bear market with the speed of the current meltdown, the bears may hit their targets much sooner than expected." We remember 2022. It stings. Although that was a lot of crypto negative news. The Terra Luna crash was a specific crypto-related event which sent a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt into the market. And then when FTX collapsed, that was a crypto exchange that went belly up and bankrupt. A lot of due to mismanagement, a lot of it due to too much leverage, but it was directly related to the crypto market. Whereas this, we really don't have any major crypto market related fear stuff going on. We're just having a market pullback, mostly spawned by macroeconomic factors that really don't have much to do with the crypto market directly, like the economy and the rate cuts and all that kind of stuff. So I see this one as a little different than 2022. But we have a lot of new people in. We also have a lot of regular type investors that are investing in Bitcoin ETFs. So, and speaking of ETFs, BlackRock Bitcoin ETF sheds $2.47 billion in November as outflows hit record $3.79 billion. BlackRock's IBIT drives November record ETF outflows, bleeding 2.47, accounting for 63% of the 3.79 billion withdrawn from U.S. spot Bitcoin's ETFs overall, not just including the BlackRock IBIT. U.S. spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds saw another sharp reversal on Thursday, erasing a brief moment of relief earlier in the week after breaking a 5-day outflow streak with 75 million in inflows on Wednesday. The funds were hit with fresh redemptions of 903 million Thursday, the biggest outflow day in November and one of the largest single-day outflows since the products were launched in January of 2024. The 3.79 billion withdrawals puts November on track to be the worst month on record for U.S. spot Bitcoin ETF outflows. Well, you got to remember when we talk about history and the record, we're talking about ETFs that just started in like January of 24. So, I mean, there's not a huge long history of Bitcoin ETFs. But, you know, and as I was mentioning earlier, you know, the people that invest in ETFs are more conventional type traders that, you know, they're going to get out on huge pullbacks. You know, a normal investor is not going to sit on something when it after it loses 20%. They're just going to get out. Whereas a seasoned crypto trader, like if you're holding Bitcoin, you can withstand that sort of stuff because we've seen it before and we've seen it come back. But you know, the average investor does not have that risk tolerance, so to speak. You know, that crypto holders and investors like all of us have learned over the years. So, yeah. So the ETFs are bleeding, and that's affecting the spot price of Bitcoin on exchanges as well. 63% outflows, yeah. But let's check out all of this market news. Is changing the odds of a Fed rate cut. They almost doubled just in 24 hours. Some Bitcoiners are speculating that the significant surge in odds of a Fed rate cut in December may lead to Bitcoin finding a price bottom here for now. Bitcoiners were noticeably more upbeat on social media today as the odds of a U.S. Federal Reserve rate cut in December nearly doubled compared to just a day earlier. Some crypto market participants are speculating that this could be the catalyst Bitcoin needs to halt the asset's downward trend. And as you can see, we're close to 8,500 right now. So we have come back just a little bit from where we were. Let's see if that's enough to find a bottom here for now. Crypto analyst Moritz said in an X post on Friday, as Bitcoin trades at 85,071 when this was written, down 10% over the past 7 days. On Friday, the odds of an interest rate cut at the December Federal Open Market Committee meeting almost doubled to 69.40, whereas before they were way under 50%. Just the day before on Thursday, it was nearly 30% lower at 39.10%, the odds of a rate cut. So, everyone was expecting another rate cut in December. And after they cut rates in November, Powell had to open his big mouth and make everybody think they were, maybe not going to cut rates. And that's all he said. Maybe we won't, but that's enough to like spook everybody and change sentiment. And, if they do cut rates, another 25 basis points, it will have just been what was expected like a month ago anyway. Not a big deal. But, sentiments rise and fall, just on a dime, just on an eyebrow raise or, an offhand remark is enough to turn markets and prediction markets. But anyway, so we'll see. December rate cut, I don't know exactly when that's going to be announced. Early December, not too far off. So we'll see. Here's my my joke, right? Scott Bessett walks into a Bitcoin bar. The Bitcoin community lit up on Thursday after U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, I think I was pronouncing his name wrong, Bessent, made an unannounced appearance at the launch of Washington's new Bitcoin-themed bar PubKey. Having the Treasury Secretary at the PubKey DC launch seems like a moment I could easily look back on and say, wow, it was all so obvious. Bitcoin Treasury Company Strife Chief Investment Officer Ben Workman said. Steve Lubka, Nakamoto's Vice President of Investor Relations, called it the sign you have been waiting for. Well, we all know that Scott Bessent is pro-crypto, and it's not surprising that he showed up. I don't know if he ordered a beer or tried to pay with Bitcoin, or if he even has Bitcoin, has any Bitcoin in his phone or whatever. You know, it would have been interesting if he had bought something with Bitcoin. But that was pretty cool. Yeah, he comes in during a slump, right? But I mean, it was opening day. When else is he going to go in there? I do have some good adoption news here. If you think of it, there's been a bill introduced in the House that the proposal would let Americans pay the IRS in Bitcoin. Pretty interesting. Tax revenue denominated in Bitcoin would be funneled into the U.S. Strategic BTC Reserve and would not trigger a taxable event for the payer. That's pretty cool. A U.S. lawmaker introduced a bill into the House of Representatives on Thursday that would allow Americans to pay their federal taxes in Bitcoin, which would then be funneled into the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. Under the Bitcoin for America Act, proposed by Representative Warren Davidson, a Republican from Ohio, BTC transferred to the U.S. government for tax payments would not be subject to capital gains taxes and not be recorded as a loss or gain for the taxpayer. Boom. That's pretty cool. But he just introduced it. We have no idea what the chances of this thing are of even getting out of committee. But it's, it's a bright spot in a bleak landscape, right? Might be interesting. See where that bill goes. And then finally, I have a story. Ken sends me most of my stories during the week. And this one came in earlier today. So, and this is a little bit interesting about how Bitcoin wallets work. I talk a lot about how exchanges are custodying your Bitcoin for you, and it's not self-custody. But they do use crypto wallets on their exchanges, on their servers. So it's still kind of self-custody as far as they're concerned, because they are actually holding their crypto in crypto wallets. They just happen to be under their control, and they have the private keys. So this is an interesting little breakdown of kind of wallet strategy and best practices. So let's take a look at this article. I think it's pretty interesting. The crypto exchange said the planned internal migration is a normal best practice, you hear me use that term quite often, in the industry to maintain cybersecurity standards. Crypto exchange Coinbase initiated a large fund migration on Saturday, moving tokens to new internal wallets in a scheduled routine security procedure to reduce long-term exposure of keeping funds in the same wallet address that are publicly known. The migration is not due to any cybersecurity breaches or external threats, according to an announcement from the company. Migrating wallets is periodically a well-accepted best practice that minimizes long-term exposure of funds. This is a planned migration and unrelated to industry changes or price conditions. This is not in response to a data breach incident or external threat. This means that large Bitcoin and Ethereum and other token balances will be moving on-chain from Coinbase wallets to other internal Coinbase wallets already labeled by blockchain explorers and intelligence platforms. Coinbase warned users that during the migration, scammers may attempt to exploit the situation by impersonating Coinbase representatives and reaching out to customers requesting login information or asking users to shift funds, which the exchange never does. So be on the lookout for anyone that claims to be they're going to use this as a pretense and say, I'm sure you heard the news that Coinbase is moving their wallets around, so we need your help because we're moving some. Don't let them trick you using this event as a pretext for gaining access to your account, even if they claim to be from Coinbase. These guys are really good. They're going to sound very convincing. They're going to ping you with text and emails to convince you that they're from Coinbase. Anybody can spoof an email or spoof a phone number. So please don't listen to any of these people that try to call you up and convince you that they're from Coinbase. But let's dive into what this means about wallets. The warning is a reminder that crypto users must remain vigilant against phishing attempts, hacks, scams, and other cybersecurity attacks in an ever-evolving threat landscape. Idle balances may be a honeypot for hackers. Why? Periodically shifting funds is a best practice. Hackers target centralized servers, information systems, and hot crypto wallets, which are connected to the internet, to extract information and value from users. These centralized repositories containing vast quantities of information or tokens are attractive to threat actors, who often plan these attacks for months and see the large centralized systems as honeypots. The emergence of artificial intelligence and AI-powered tools also gives hackers an edge in assembling heuristic clues through publicly known information and other metadata that can compromise sensitive information or lead to theft, cybersecurity experts tell Cointelegraph. Now, I'm going to read a few more paragraphs here. I don't necessarily agree with this because when I was at Ledger Open, there were several cryptography experts, and all three of them, Charles from Ledger, a couple other guys that work at universities in the privacy coins like Zcash and some other company I can't remember the name of. All three of those cryptography experts who have been in cryptography for many years said that they don't think quantum computers will be able to break AES encryption in their lifetime, right? So take what this person says about quantum computers with a grain of salt. I know quantum computers, there's a lot of hype around them, but I'll go ahead and read you the paragraph now. Quantum computers also pose a threat to the current cryptography technology, long-term, perhaps, right? Which is not far off in the future. Okay, so that's what I don't agree with. Most experts say it is far off in the future, but may have already materialized retroactively. Gianluca Di Bella, a smart contract and zero-knowledge proof researcher. Okay. Threat actors may be compiling crypto public keys now until a sufficiently powerful quantum computer is invented. Then, the quantum computer can derive the private key from the public address in a harvest now, decrypt later attack. So basically what they're saying is, if I know the public key of a crypto wallet, I'm just going to save it, and then hopefully later when quantum computers are able to crack public keys and derive private keys from them, I'll be able to hack that. So a couple of things about that argument. In fact, I heard this at that panel at Ledger Open, and one of them was, okay, so you have a system that is secure now by cryptography, and somebody might want to hack it in the future with quantum technology. Well, if it's information, If it's personal information, if it's government information, then they might be able to hack it later and gain access to historic information, which may or may not be helpful to them. But when we're talking about value, if someone hacks your Bitcoin wallet 10 years in the future after you've already sold it, it's not going to be a big deal, right? So that's one thing. It's like this is value that we may or may not have 10 years from now, or 20 years from now, or 30 years from now, or even after my lifetime. But the idea here is that if you keep moving your Bitcoin around, then this historic public address isn't going to do them any good because now it's been emptied, right? Even though that doesn't rule out the possibility of them discovering your new public address. But here's something that is an interesting wrinkle on all of this. Like I said, I don't think it's possible that quantum computers are going to crack AES encryption in my lifetime. But what they're saying is the way that a cryptography works, or public-private key cryptography, is that if you have a private key, you use mathematical transformations in order to derive the public key. But it's a one-way operation, which means that you can't take a public key and derive the private key. You can't go backwards because it involves factoring very, very large prime numbers, and we don't have a computer that can do that. And so they're saying, okay, well, maybe in the future we'll be able to do that. So I'm going to save a whole bunch of public keys, and then after that's possible, I'll take those public keys, and then I'll derive the private key and gain access to the wallet. However, if you have a deposit-only wallet, a deposit-only wallet is a wallet that you're only dropping coins into and not moving coins out of. And that wallet has never had its public key exposed. So if you don't have a public key to crack, then that wallet is much more secure. Even though there's nothing that can derive a private key from a public key now or in the near future, if you have a wallet that has never exposed its public key by sending a transaction out, then it's a more secure wallet, theoretically, by this argument. So, and that's what I've done. And I have a Bitcoin deposit-only wallet. And then I also have another Bitcoin wallet that goes in and out, right? So the incoming wallet, payments come in or crypto comes in, and then sometimes I'll sell out of that wallet. But I also have a different wallet where I only make deposits. So that wallet is what I consider clean. Now, there have been times where, okay, I need the Bitcoin that's in that wallet. So if I make a withdrawal from that wallet, if I send some Bitcoin out of that wallet, then in my mind, that wallet has now been tainted because the private key has been exposed onto the blockchain. So then I will create a new wallet that's brand new, empty wallet, and transfer the remaining balance of my formerly deposit-only wallet over to the new deposit-only wallet, and the public key has never been exposed on that wallet. I know I'm kind of getting into some theoretical territory here, but I thought that I would bring up this. And the best practice that Coinbase is talking about is, hey, if you've got a public, Coinbase deposit addresses are pretty much out there, right? And the Coinbase wallets that hold Bitcoin are constantly having Bitcoin going in and out of them. That's their business model, right? So those public addresses are just floating out there, and scammers might be able to do some recon because there's so much data on those wallets. So Coinbase, normally they're going to move those wallets into new wallets. Of course, they're not going to make them deposit-only wallets. Maybe they will, some of them, but most of them are going to be working wallets. But what that means is that all the data that these hackers have gathered over several months or years of research are suddenly worthless to them because Coinbase has migrated those balances into new wallet. Now they have to start all over again and start gathering data on those wallets. Pretty crazy. But anyway. Okay, so let me catch up here. It's crazy. Instead of the supposedly 4Q and 4-year cycle euphoria, we're getting mass panic. Interesting. Yes. Yeah. Ledger Black Friday sales are ongoing. Yes, I forgot to tell you guys about Ledger Black Friday. I've done it again. Doggone. But that's okay. I'm done with the news. So let me just hit, if you've never been in the stream before, check out the description. If you don't see the description, hit more. Stuff we're going to talk about. And of course, specials, Black Fridays. I think all Black Friday sales for hardware wallets are now live, except for OneKey. I think theirs doesn't start until next week, like regular Black Friday. But of course, Ledger has their Black Friday sale going on. Probably the most popular deal would be the $70 back on a Flex. Flex is their touchscreen secure signer, and it's $250, and then with $70 back, that's 100 and I don't know, 79, something like that. So it's a pretty good deal for a Flex, right? Comes down to the same price as the G5. Nano X's are 50% off, and I think you can even get a black one at that price. So pretty cool. Keep in mind, though, you have to spend, I think it's around $200 in order to qualify for free shipping on Ledger's site. I know everybody wants free shipping, but even Amazon doesn't give free shipping unless you are, a Prime customer. So some places give free shipping, but not all. So don't think you can go and buy a $70 Nano X and get free shipping. It's going to cost you $20. However, if you go onto the Ledger website for their Black Friday deals and you get a Ledger Nano X, you can have it shipped directly to you for the $20 shipping, or you can choose to pick it up at your local Best Buy for free. So if you live near a Best Buy, which I do, I've got one like less than a mile from my house, like quarter of a mile from my house. I could easily run over there and pick it up while I'm going out to eat or going to get groceries or whatever. Not much skin off my teeth. So that's an option. And Best Buy is one of their trusted partners, so, it's nothing freaky about that. All right, so you can get $10 back on the Ledger Nano S Plus. You can get $10 back on the Nano G Gen 5 when you use my landing page. Their normal Black Friday, on the ledger.com doesn't offer $10 back on the Gen 5. Although I tried doing it on my, and I wasn't able to get the token in my cart when I added this to my cart. So I think they might need to work on it. I let my rep know about it. And of course, the Ledger stacks, you'll get $80 worth of Bitcoin back. So this is the biggest Bitcoin. This is the biggest discount on a Ledger Nano X ever, right? This is pretty amazing. Let's see. TANGEM is also running Black Friday sales. And I've got links down here in the description. It's like a double code here that mixes their Black Friday 2025 with my CryptoDad, and you'll get like a total of 30% off. 10 plus 20 is 30, and you get $10 worth of Bitcoin. And this is store-wide. You can use this for any of their products, so that's a big Black Friday thing. I think this goes through Oh, they say November 28th. I thought it lasted longer. Anyway, I don't know about Stamp Seed. You get a 15% discount when you use my checkout code. So I'm sure that'll go up during their Black Friday sale. I don't know that they've got Black Friday active yet. I think maybe next week sometime when Black Friday actually hits. So let's see what else we got. Yeah, all those, and then I've got the news stories linked down here below. So check out those deals. Oh, and videos, right? I've done several videos this week. I did the Rider 1 Restore video. You saw most of that with me last week here on the live stream. But check out that video. I did a pretty good video, I thought, about Ledger changing their name from wallet to signer. And it's been, views have been pretty good on this. I thought I did a pretty good job explaining this. I gave it to my Ledger rep, and she was pretty impressed with my explanation of why Ledger has... Oh, and you were here with me when I talked about this, right? When I compared it to a CFO signing payroll checks. So you guys pretty much saw that last week. So I did my Ledger Black Friday live deals. I did my TANGEM Black Friday deals. I did the Descent Wallet Black Friday deals. Descent Wallets have pretty good Black Friday deal. I got all these links down in the description. And then I did one for the Trezor Black Friday deals. And I put all the active links down in the description of this live stream if you want to check them out. So if you're in the market for a crypto hardware wallet, this is it. This is the time of year to buy them. And all of those deals, all those companies are running active Black Friday deals through at least Cyber Monday, at least maybe not TANGEM. So now's the time. If you want to give a gift to someone, if you want an extra one for yourself, if you want to buy your first one, if you want to support me and the channel without having to pay me a penny, just use my links to make your purchase. It won't cost you a cent more than it would normally cost. And if you use my landing page for Ledger, you might get a little $10 Bitcoin stocking stuffer when you buy the Nano Gen 5, right? So pretty cool. Okay, so yeah, I forgot to do that, right? Let's go back here. I wanted to see what some people are talking about because I was getting kind of technical there. So White Castle came to Phoenix and I waited 45 minutes in line on the first day. How pretty. Huge cat. Yeah, he's a big cat. He gets fed twice a day. Well, he gets wet food in the morning and wet food in the evening. And then I keep his dry bowl full of dry food. Right? And then he gets treats too. Yeah, he's got me trained pretty well. Like I let him out in the morning. He usually comes back after about 15 or 20 minutes. He wants treats. I give him treats. He goes out for another hour or so. Then he comes back and then he wants his breakfast. And after he gets his breakfast, he goes out and plays for a little while longer, comes back in, sleeps for, 4 or 5 hours, goes back outside, wanders around, and then comes back around dinner time, gets fed, maybe goes back out. I don't know. He goes back and forth. Let's see. Does anyone have info on the Monad token? No, I heard a little bit about that. Coinbase is featuring that, but I really don't know much about it. I don't really focus on coin evaluations. I'm more into secure and self-custody. DLL set record revs and earning with no debt. I think you're talking about a company. I don't really focus on that kind of stuff. I just wonder where the bottom is on Bitcoin. I don't understand the sell-off that can even be taking over the market lower that heard from CNBC saying 7,500 will be mostly a question. I wouldn't take much stock in what CNBC says about the price of Bitcoin. They bashed Bitcoin for many years before they finally came around They were firmly in the anti-Bitcoin crypto camp for years, and now suddenly they're the experts on where the market's going. I don't know. People's statements on CNBC scares the crap out of me. Yeah, maybe turn off your TV and just read articles. On Cointelegraph is a good source for Bitcoin information. Another good one is CoinDesk. Much more balanced view. Although they publish articles by lots of different authors, so it's not going to be biased or one-sided. But they are crypto-centric, and they've been covering Bitcoin and crypto for many years. So I would trust, this kind of news much more than I would trust watching, people on CNN trying to, hang on to their dwindling audiences. Anyway, let's get back here. Oh, I was looking at comments here. It's funny. I was looking at this just now. I saw this guy. Anyway, I won't, I'll stay on track here. Where were we? Yeah. Let's go back here. Party is over. Nice run for 16 years. This will not end well. Oh, yeah. So all the doomsayers that have been saying that Bitcoin is dead since, I don't know, all the way back to 2013 and before, have been wrong up to this point. And as that first article mentioned, we're only weeks away from an all-time high. So I wouldn't be, running for the hills just yet. No one really knows where we will go from here, but if the 4-year cycle holds, we could drop to the 200-day SMA, approximately 55K, and then go sideways for 1 to 2 years. Not financial advice. Yes, I would trust what Dan says a lot more, but he's talking about if the 4-year cycle is still valid. That's a possibility, right? No one sells seed phrases. Please stop. I don't know who's talking about selling seed phrases. I think I talked earlier about avoiding scammers. Don't ever let anyone talk you into giving up your seed phrase, right? That's a big no-no. Let's see. The party is over. Okay, I got to that one. Michael Anthony's talking. Dan is a chartist. He analyzes charts and what people say. It's called elliptic curve, Rex. Yeah, you could say elliptic curve is AES encryption, I guess. But yeah, I don't think so, Rex. You can't generate a public key without a private key. I don't think that's what I said. You can, when you generate a Bitcoin address or a crypto address on your hardware wallet, you have not exposed your private key until you've actually sent something out from the wallet. That is a fact. You do have a private key, but you haven't exposed it to the internet. In other words, the private key has not been derived from the public key has not been derived from the private key yet until you actually send crypto out of the wallet. Until then, it's simply a private key that, you're right. You do have to generate. It does generate a receiving address for you, but the wallet itself has not sent the private key out onto the blockchain until you actually withdraw from the wallet. Thanks for sharing all this wallet stuff. Trying to figure out how I want to minimize exposure. When you apply elliptical curve, you create a public key from a private key, so you can't have a public key without a private key. Okay, so we tend to disagree. It still bothers me having to store all your crypto worth in a cold wallet. I might diversify into an ETF. So any public address is exposed unless you transfer to another address style that is quantum resistant. There aren't quantum resistant at this time. I think BTC will most likely get a major fork in a decade or two. Satoshi sats will be taken, but again, this is worst case. Yes, you did a great explanation of the signer. Any TradFi news channel is more like a soap opera, LOL. Docport TX. Docport TX, thanks for being here. Sounds like you know a little bit about what you're talking about, so it's always nice to have people here that have never been in the stream before. I don't recall you being here, so I'm glad to see you. Where are we now? 6:55. Yeah, we talked a lot. I did want to just quickly, I think we did this last week, but let's play around with it a little bit. Yeah, well, just for the heck of it. Let's go over here to the table demo. That was crazy. All right. Doggone this thing, man. What is this? I keep punching the wrong keys. I already told you all my jokes. Oh, are you kidding me? All right, let me go back to this. Sorry. Okay. I got to get my you-know-what together here. All right, first I need to do this. Okay, there. Now I need to do this. Okay, I want you guys to be able to see my phone. Yeah, because sometimes when I'm holding it here, you guys, I'm like holding it at the wrong angle or whatever. So I want to share my phone screen with you guys. And then we got the Trezor Safe 7, which I think is a really cool device here. And it's the first Trezor device that has Bluetooth and a battery so that you can actually manage crypto with your mobile device. So it's a first. So I have my Trezor Suite set up here. Oh, I need my Face ID. Just bothers me. Let's try this again. It's always hard to get my Face ID to work. Okay, unlock with biometrics. There we go. All right, so we got this Trezor Safe wallet, and it says that the Trezor Safe 7 is disconnected. So when we fire this guy up and turn it on, we need to enter our PIN, right? Oh, I did want to bring this up. Someone asked me why this doesn't have a QWERTY keyboard. Now, you'll notice that when you turn on a Ledger also has like a grid like this. Let me just go ahead and finish entering the PIN. Yeah. Oops. I guess I got it wrong. Let me try again. Okay, there we go. All right, see, pretty cool. It comes up, sees my ledger, asks me if I want to allow access. I'm sorry, it sees my Trezor. Pardon me. No, I'm not going to do the auto reconnect. I could, but see, now it says it's connected, which I think is pretty cool. So let's send this somewhere else. It's some Ethereum. Let's send it into my Ledger wallet. See if we can. Now, I'm not going to do a verification on this. I'm just going to say, okay, I want to receive, and I'm just going to reveal address without verifying, right? Because I'm comfortable with this. I'm not going to verify. There's the address. Copy it into my clipboard. Let's go back over here. Here we go again. Doggone it. I have to be looking at this thing. Okay. So we're going to go into the Ethereum. We're going to do a send. And I'll paste in the address. There we go. And how much do I want to send here? 0.0. Well, let's do that. Let's do 0.01 just for a test. I just want to demonstrate how you do outgoings, and this thing has fallen asleep because I've been screwing around with it so much. I'm going to have to re-enter the PIN. Okay. And there we go. Okay. Now, let's do review and sign. Okay, yeah, you can double check your address if you want. Right, yeah, there it is. Okay, they want me to compare the address. I'm okay with that. Now, we're going to confirm on the device. There it is. And I can even go back to the place that this is my destination, and then you can see the address here on the device itself. We want to confirm that. Let's see. Ugh, what are you doing to me? Ugh, now what? Oh, I'm on the... Sorry. Okay. All right, now we're going to continue on the device, and there we go. That's the amount we're sending. There's the fee, and now we hold to sign. So we just hold down here. It's kind of giving me haptic feedback. Transaction is signed, and now I can go ahead and broadcast by hitting send. And there it goes. Out it goes. A little bit pending now. Shouldn't take it too long. But that was, I just wanted to demonstrate that the way this thing works, you do have to authorize on the device. The device has the private key. The private key stays offline on the device. Private key never gets transmitted back and forth between the phone or the device when you're doing a transaction. There's a request is sent across Bluetooth. The device evaluates the request, gives you all the information. You authorize it by tapping when you tap to hold and sign. After the transaction is signed, the signed transaction, cryptographically signed by the private key, the signed transaction goes back to the phone through Bluetooth, but not the private key. So the private key is never leaving the device during a transaction. I don't believe that Trezor has any kind of digital export like a lot of wallets are getting digital exports like the Rider One, where you've got the tag where you can export your private key to a backup tag. Ledger now has their recovery key. It's a digital backup where you can save your recovery phrase and restore quickly and easily. But I don't think Trezor has anything like that yet, interestingly. I don't know why it's still pending. It's already been authorized. Maybe it's just kind of stuck on the blockchain. Whoops. Okay, yeah, so we have a pending outgoing transaction. Let's go back here. Oh. All right. There we go. Kind of going back and forth with all my stuff here. I don't know why it's still pending, but I'm sure we signed off on it. Didn't we? I'm pretty sure I did. I'm going to turn this thing back on again and look at it and see what's it doing. Oh, I did want to, I started to talk about this and then I got distracted. Someone was asking me why the Trezor Safe 7 does not have a QWERTY keyboard or, like a normal keyboard. What it has, if you're entering words for recovery, is I think they call it I don't know, I forget what they call it, Q7, something like that. It looks like an old back in the old days when you texted people from a cell phone, you didn't have a keyboard, so you had to use your number pad. So like the number 1 had ABC, And if you wanted A, you hit 1 once. And if you wanted C, you hit the number 1 3 times to get the C. And that's the same scheme that the Trezor Safe 7 uses. Let's just go over here. Actually, all the Trezor touchscreens use that keyboard layout. And the end user was asking me, why don't they have a QWERTY keyboard? And I don't know. I think that the size or shape of the device doesn't really lend itself to a QWERTY keyboard or a full keyboard. Even on the, I don't know if I can get a keyboard entry up here. Yeah, it's kind of hard. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I think I can. Let me go over here real quick. Let's see. Yeah, if I want to change the name. Right. See, there's the keyboard on the Ledger. This is the Ledger G5. And you'll notice I get a full normal type keyboard. It's pretty small. The one on the Stacks is a little bit bigger. But on a Trezor Safe 7, because of the shape of it, I don't know, it could. But there are some drawbacks to the QWERTY keyboard security-wise. If you are constantly typing in your PIN code, there might be smudges on the screen that could a potential attacker, someone that has control of your device, might use to help them guess your PIN. So having that number layout is a little more secure in that sense, because even if there are smudges on there, they may not know exactly what letter you were typing, because there's 3 letters to every section. That might be one. Another thing about that is it also scrambles the words. Or, I'm sorry, it scrambles the letters. So every time you go to enter your PIN, the numbers are in a different spot. So it just sort of, I guess what I'm trying to say is the Trezor decided to use that keyboard, I think for security reasons, and maybe just because putting that keyboard on a noticeably thinner device, well, maybe not quite that much thinner, but a little bit thinner, might have had the keys might have been a little small. Having the I don't know what the name for it is. I think the Q7 layout, or the number keypad layout is a little bit bigger for your fingers. So even though you have to tap more than once to get the letter you're after, would be easier on the fingers and finding the keys and all that stuff. And granted, you really aren't going to be spending a lot of time typing. You're not going to be typing stories on your hardware device. You only need the letter entry some very specific times, like when you're doing a restore or something like that. Yeah. So, yeah. Let me catch up with... oh, I'm way at the top here. Let me go down to the bottom here. Okay. What is transaction check? I hear some people talking about this. What does it mean? Yeah, the question, what is transaction check? Transaction check is a way to front run your transactions. And there is a company involved in this. And I'm not going to be able to find it while I'm just right here. Hopefully I will. there's a company that actually does this. It's a third-party company that will, like, before you actually confirm your transaction, they will give you an alert if what you're about to do looks suspicious, like if it's a scam address or a flaky or a malicious smart contract. It checks out there on the blockchain and the Web3 for shady looking transactions, and it'll warn you if it sees something that looks suspicious. That's what transaction check does. Usually what you see when you're doing a swap or a send is it'll say down there at the bottom, I don't see anything. Transaction check has not found anything suspicious. But it's just kind of a verification or that extra layer of security that's built in to help prevent you from doing something that could be fishy, basically. And then their clear signing means that when you see the information on your screen that you're about to approve, it's human readable and very easy to digest. So you've got those two things that have been added now to help prevent just like blindly signing a transaction if you don't know what's going on. And you're relying on the website to give you all the information when there could be something happening under the hood. So, but transaction check will actually check the transaction before you sign it. Why do you have to keep updating the ledger? Does that mean crypto is never safe, yet governments want you to get into trading cryptos of some type? The reason that you have to keep updating the ledger is the same reason you have to keep updating your computer. There is, and a lot of people, your question involves this dichotomy of safe and not safe. That's an oversimplification. There is no like borderline between safe and not safe. It's a continuum. There is safe and there's safer. And then there's risky and, very risky. So the reason you're not just for security, your device needs to be updated because of functionality that changes. Blockchains improve. Ethereum migrated from proof of work to proof of stake not too long ago. So the same code that allowed you to use an Ethereum wallet had to be updated to accommodate the blockchain changes. So we have functionality updates. We have improved interface. The device improves the interface, makes it better, adds transaction check, adds clear signing. So new and better protocols come out. So that's another reason to keep your device up to date. And of course, security and bug fixes. There are always bugs in codes. Nothing is static. Your phone constantly needs to be updated. It usually happens in the background now. Your computer needs to stay updated. Even your smart TV runs updates because your streaming services keep improving their interfaces. So, your Netflix app needs to be updated. Your Amazon Prime app needs to be updated. The Apple TV app needs to be updated. This is just, I don't understand why people think it's so strange that a tool of technology needs updates. It's normal modus operandi in our society that tech gadgets need to be updated. There's nothing to be afraid of. It doesn't mean that your crypto is not safe now, but it does mean that your device gets better, security improves, functionality improves, bugs get fixed, and new functionality is added. So crypto is not static, and I wouldn't want a static device. I wouldn't want a device that can't ever be updated. What if something changes and they have to update the Bitcoin blockchain? Someone was just talking about quantum resistant cryptography being implemented in Bitcoin or Ethereum. So yeah, you want a device that can stay up to date. Like I said, I don't think that quantum computers are going to be anywhere near breaking elliptic curve cryptography in the near future. But we'll see, right? So yes, your device needs to be updated. It shouldn't scare you. It should be like, oh great, there's another update. I'm glad my device I want to keep my device in tip-top shape, so I'm going to update it, right? Just like I keep my phone and my computer up to date, right? So I can run all the latest stuff and have all the latest fixes. Yeah. TANGEM cards don't get updates. Yeah, you're right. TANGEM cards don't get updates, but they do update their app. Their updates can be done through the app. The card is pretty simplistic. It just does one thing, keeps the private key safe. So TANGEM updates their apps periodically for new functionality and bug fixes and things like that. But yeah, the card pretty much just does one thing. It keeps the private key safe. A ledger device is a little more robust and flexible and powerful than a TANGEM card. But I love TANGEM. I use TANGEM. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with TANGEM. I'm just saying there's different use cases out there for different budgets, for different levels of expertise, for different use cases. What do you want to do with your crypto? So there are different wallets out there. I get this question a lot. Well, just tell me the best crypto wallet I should buy. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's like you walked in and said, just tell me the right car to buy. Well, there's so many different cars out there. I mean, what, do you have a family? Are you on a budget? I was like, oh yeah, just buy a Kia Telluride. That's the car to buy. Everybody should buy a Kia Telluride. You'd think I was a nut. You'd be like, wait a minute, I don't need a Telluride. Same with crypto wallet. I'm not just going to tell you, yeah, buy this wallet. That's why I review them all. That's why I promote them all, because everybody has a different use case, right? Or, hey, tell me the best fruit I should eat. Like, what? I mean, come on. Anyhow. Yeah, the Trezor, you can update the firmware on Trezor. Trezor has firmware updates. Most hardware signers have firmware updates. Yeah, Trezor, Ledger, One Key. What's the other one? Descent, the Korean one, Descent. So yeah, it's standard operation. I don't go between Trezor and Ledger. It's another use case. And it's kind of, that's a hard call because it's personally I prefer Ledger, but a lot of people would rather use Trezor for their own reasons. So my personal preference really doesn't, shouldn't influence you. I try to present all the possibilities and review all the features of all the different wallets out there and give you the most information you can get to make your own decision. Self-custody is not a, hey, just tell me what to do kind of a thing. You really have to do your own research and make your own decisions and take responsibility for your actions, because, oh, Rex told me to buy this and now I don't like it. Well, you shouldn't buy things just based on what somebody told you. So everybody always tries to pin me down on that. I use them all. I do. I have a Trezor. I have plenty of ledgers. I have, 3 or 4 TANGEM card sets. I've got the Rider 1. I've got Descent. I've got them all and I use them all. So, TANGEM cards would be good for sending online exposure transactions, like spending, like you explained to us. Yeah, TANGEM is a great working wallet. One that you can carry around with you in your pocket. You don't want to have like your mother load on there, but just enough to spend. I think with stablecoin payment rails, you're going to see a lot more like, in-person use cases for spending your crypto at not just online, but, in person at coffee shops, at grocery stores, at, shoe stores, clothing stores, whatever, and be able to have a wallet like a TANGEM where you just carry it around and all you got to do is like put that card behind your phone. That really makes a good argument for that ease of use case, right? So yeah, don't just like think I have to buy one wallet. You keep money in the bank, you keep money at home, you keep money in your wallet, and each of those storage situations are slightly different, right? You don't you don't take your money, your paycheck, and go cash it and then take all of your cash home and just hide it under your bed. You keep your money in a bank, anyhow. Yeah, money, holding value and managing value is a complicated business. It's not like there's just one thing, Paper wallets. Okay, all right. There's a great video by Andreas Antonopoulos. Hey, yeah, I love this video. For the last time, stop using paper wallets. You might want to check this one out. I won't get personally involved in this argument. But he makes a pretty compelling case about paper wallets. Anyway, guys, we've gone a little over tonight. I want to thank everybody for being here. Let's see what we got over here. Let's do the stream ending. I do this live stream every Saturday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me again next week for the live stream from Michigan, where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. I hope to see you there again next week. Check out all the Black Friday deals that are down in the description. I appreciate it. It's the one time of year that I come to you with hat in hand and, palms up, hoping that you'll support me for all of the great educational information I provide during the year by making a purchase that you normally would make just using one of my links. I appreciate that a lot. And if you like this particular live stream, give it a thumbs up. If you like the channel, subscribe. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me and hope to see you again. Thank you, Kenny, for the news. Thank you, Dan, for moderating. Thank you, everyone that came in and asked questions. Thank you, all the new viewers that were here tonight. I appreciate you being here. Thank you, all of you that just came in and didn't say a word and just watched. I appreciate that as well. It's great to have all my regular viewers here every week. You're like family to me. I feel comfortable sitting down on a Saturday night with you and talking about crypto. I hope you enjoyed what you heard tonight. And I guess that's all I got. I will see you guys again next week. I'm posting lots of content. I would keep an eye on the channel. I told you I have all those Black Friday videos, but I'm going to do some more demo videos through this week. While I promote Black Friday a little more, I'm going to do some tutorial videos for like the Trezor and the Ledger Nano G5. So stay tuned for that. Thank you again, everyone, for being here. DocPort TX, thanks for being in the stream and participating quite a bit. I don't remember seeing you here before, so if this is your first time, welcome, and I hope to see you again soon. I'm going to sign out for tonight, and I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving. I forgot to mention that. Please, guys, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hope that you'll be with your family and friends.